So we've already learned how to graph parabolas, and today we're going to just get into how to graph quadratic inequalities. We've graphed quadratic equations. Now the difference is instead of having an equal sign, we are going to have these signs now. Less than's, greater than's, and so on. We've gone over how to graph lines before that are inequalities as well. So like, for example, the line could have been a solid line where we shaded above it, or it could have been a broken line where we shaded below it. So same idea with quadratics. We're going to shade our parabola either above it or below it, and it can be a solid parabola or a broken parabola. The general steps are you're going to first graph the parabola, again either broken or solid based on the inequalities that were given, and we're going to decide which region is going to be shaded, whether it's above or below this parabola based on the symbols. Above is based off of having the greater than symbols, whether it's greater than or equal to. And below is based on the less than and the less than or equal to symbol. So let's go ahead and graph the first one, which is a quadratic in standard form. So we're going to start with the vertex and the a value. So x equals negative b over 2a. My b value in this case is negative 8, and my a value is negative 4. And that's going to be 8 over negative 8, which gives me negative 1. Y values, just as before, we're going to do negative 4, negative 1 squared, minus 8 times negative 1, plus 2. We're going to simplify this. Negative 1 squared is positive 1, times negative 4 is negative 4. 8 times 8, both negative. 8 times 1, both negative, is positive 8, and then drop the 2. Do our quick check. 8 is double of 4, and 4 is half of 8. One's negative, one's positive, so we're good. And 8 minus 4 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So we have our vertex, which is negative 1 and 6. And our a value over here is negative 4. So we're going to graph using those two pieces of information, a and vertex. So we're going to go negative 1 and up 6. We're going to graph our vertex, and then we're going to drop 4. 1 to the left, 1 to the right. That's going to be my parabola. Now, because my inequality is greater than, we are going to be shading above it, and we're also going to be drawing a broken parabola. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my broken parabola. Do the best you can to draw. It doesn't have to be perfect. So here's my broken parabola. And it says to shade above because we have a greater than symbol. So that means everything above the vertex. So not inside, but on the outside. So if I go above, it's above the vertex. This is the inside, that's less than. This is the outside, which is all of this out here. So I'm going to be shading everything on the outside of this parabola. Just do a quick shade, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's easier with a pencil. So this is my final answer. So any point in this region is a solution. Any point that's not shaded and the parabola itself is not a solution. So let's go ahead and see another example. Let's look at number 2. Alright, so this one's in vertex form, so it's actually going to be a lot easier to graph. Remember, these two give me my vertex. So my vertex is opposite negative 2, negative 4. My a value is the 3 up front. And go ahead and graph this. Negative 2, negative 4 hits right here. And let's actually just make a quick change just because I want it to fit on the grid. Let's go ahead and make this. No, I'm sorry. Actually, we're fine. A is 3, so we're going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 to the left and 1 to the right. Since I have the less than symbol, that's again another broken parabola. Graph it as best you can, making it look broken. Alright, now we have to decide, are we going to shade inside or outside? We have a less than symbol. So the less than symbol says shade below the parabola. I'm sorry, below the parabola or below the vertex, which means it's all that outer area again. So my shading is going to be all of this stuff right here. And I'm done. So again, vertex form, easiest way to graph. Let's move on to number 3. So we have a parabola that's in factored form, so we're going to start with the roots. So let's identify our roots. So they're going to be x equals to 1 and x equals to 5. These are my roots or my zeros, solutions, whatever I want to call them. Let's put those on the graph. So we're at 1 and 5 right here and right there. Now the next thing we need is our vertex. So we'll have to draw our line of symmetry down the middle. So at x equals 3 is my line of symmetry. And I'm going to plug that in to figure out the y value. So we have negative, -1 here, -1 there. And I'm going to plug in that 3 from the line of symmetry. And just go ahead and simplify all that and get my vertex. So y equals negative times 2. And I realized I just made a mistake. There should be a 5 right here. So that's going to be -2. And when we multiply that, we get a positive 4. So vertex is 3, 4. So at 3, I'm going to go up 4. And I'm going to draw a parabola. So check what kind of parabola. This says greater than or equal to. That's going to be a solid parabola. So I draw my parabola. And because it's a greater than sign, I am going to be shading above the parabola. That means it's above the vertex. So it's going to be, again, the outer section. So all these examples just ended up being the outer section. But it can actually also be the intersection as well. So what I mean by that is I can have a parabola where it looks